My name is Stanislav Zimin, and I'm a trend analyst, forecaster, and futurist. And my main role is to forecast fashion trends like seasonal and also speaking about macro trends, what we're going to have in the world in the future. So today we're going to speak a bit about how to forecast fashion trends. And as a lecturer, my mission is to explain how can we predict fashion trends, how it's possible that we can see what is going to happen in the future in terms of fashion, in terms of social things happening in the world. Trend analyst is a specialist who analyzes trends, fashion show, media events, and make them relevant for their brand. So what are the sources of trend analysis? Actually, it's the art, design, politics, cinema, fashion, music. It's really impossible to predict anything, to foresee anything if you don't understand the trends in any of these fields. And also the very good example, like the metaphor for this is the Indra's net, is the Buddhist philosophy term, like everything that exists or has ever existed can be thought about is a pearl in the Indra's net. And it's amazing metaphor and picture which represent what I want to tell you is that every aspect of our life is intertwined. It's a pearl in this huge net. It's very important to understand. So let's have a look at spring summer season 2026. I mean, in terms of representation of macro trends, how are they reflected? The first one is biotech. It's a very important macro trend of nowadays and the future. So we can see like Stella McCartney is a fashion designer, fashion brand. They presented Fever. It's a plant-based product which has a look of a bird's feather. It's very important topic of the fashion industry in Europe, especially. And also Kids Super, we can see the leather made of apple skin. Next macro trend is inequality, social inequality, degradation of people's behavior and appearance, and also inclusive capitalism. We can tell about this macro trend as a whole. Which future the world government want us to live in is like 10% of the rich people in the world and 90% of the poor. It's like rich became richer and poor became poorer. That's what they want us, the world, to live in. So that's why we have this kind of representation in a fashion shows. It's like they live a poor life and they want to survive in this um, urbanization, etc. And also the Kalina Strada is a very important brand to analyze and to follow. Also in Moschino, the inspiration was arte povera. Arte povera means the art of the poor in 1960s, and Japanese monoha as well. It's like you create clothes from different kind of things like potato bag or I don't know, sugar bag. Next one is the workwear. Miuccia Prada is one of the main personas designers in the fashion industry nowadays. She said, in a uniform, you are protected, you are neutral, it allows you to think. And workwear also comes from this social trend. It's like we need people to work, especially poor people, of course. That's why this workwear is represented on a runway as well. Like in Prada's collection, we see this a lot. In Emporio Armani a bit, and in Miu Miu as well is Miuccia's Prada's brand. So we see this representation of working ladies, working people, working class. And also the very interesting show to analyze is prototypes. We can see here the workwear, like the jacket and this suit with the instructor written on it. The next trend is infantilism. You know that new generation nowadays they live with their parents longer and they make them more childish maybe in a way. There are a lot of people in their 30s and 40s who still play with the dolls or collecting cars, and they are told kiddles, like kid and adults, kiddles. So, and we see this kind of trend in fashion as well, and it's connected with escapism. Escapism means the decision not to grow up. It's because they are afraid of the future. People are afraid of what is going to happen. They are afraid to grow up and to be adult. Video games is also kind of a picture of escapism and infantilism in fashion. This childish wear is also the way of get away from the adult future. So we see that trend in a lot of brands. The next one is 60 plus. It's connected with the demographic situation in the Western world because nowadays, as you can see, the Western society, people are getting older. So we can see this in the European campaigns. This one from Montclair is hugely popular, became hugely popular and getting millions of euro relevance from this campaign, from these two actors in black and white. And also the very popular brands like Burberry, Loewe, they all have the models of these generations 60 plus. The next important trend is the USA. USA is very important nowadays because we're living in the world of defragmentation. So, and that's why we were living in the world of Americana, we can say, with the world when the USA was the main country and the dollar was the main currency in the world. And nowadays, in the century we are living, in the 21st century, it's going to change and the USA is going to lose its power. And now we're living in the period when it's happening, and it's very painful for the United States. And also, it's connected with the civil wars because it's connected with a cycle. Every country has its own cycle, and every period they are going to repeat the scenario which happened before. China and India, they have a huge cycles because it's ancient civilizations and they have a kind of circle. But countries like Russia, like USA, for example, they have a cycle around 80 years. So we have a repetition of the scenario of 80 years ago sometimes. So, and USA is having a cycle of civil war. That's why we have it on the fashion shows nowadays. We have the brands which are going back to their past, to the time of conquering the territory of the Indians. So we can see here the brands which have the correlation with the topic of civil war. Another very important geographic area is Middle East, North Africa, which is very important to analyze in the fashion weeks. We have fashion week in Dubai, in Saudi Arabia as well for the third time. And fashion brands from Europe are presenting their collections here, as well as in Shanghai, as well as in Mumbai. And we can have a kind of inspiration from this area, from Arabic area and from Arabic culture as well. And on 16th of October, the Vivienne Westwood, which is an English rebel brand, presented their collection in Saudi Arabia, which is almost incredible. But now it's possible because the world is changing very rapidly, very fast. The next macro trend is protest, search for safety, and we can see it in lookbooks like the clothes and the aesthetic speaks of resilience, fatigue, honesty. We see the guy which is having sugar, potato, like there's something to survive. Other brands, they have kind of things to take with them to survive in the urban surroundings. The prototypes as well, this brand I mentioned before. And also, it's very important nowadays not only to see the pictures, but to have a look at the press release of each collection. And because it's not only searching for inspiration, but it's about analyzing. It's the way I look at the collection. And when we just, as an example, have a look at this collection prototypes, Spring Summer 26, which is called In Love and Memory of British Culture. And actually, it's kind of the funeral of British culture in this fashion show. But if I, as a trend analyst, have a look at this collection, I can see a lot of trends in it. And that's how I analyze every lookbook, every runway show. And if we analyze, we can see these macro trends like protests, like workwear, like national identity, like women's power, which is also a macro trend in this century because we're going in the women's world this century. The Gothic style, Masonic maybe, and the Roadman. Roadman, the kind of rebel youth which don't follow the rules. And in every country, they have special term for this young people, like Maranza in Italy. And also exhibition and auctions are very important to analyze because it's a huge trend forecasting tool. Because can you imagine that every exhibition, millions of people attending it for a period of 5, 4, 6 months, and then they kind of thinking about it, they reflect on this exhibition and the topic of this exhibition. That's what fashion also take inspiration from. So if you have a quick look at the exhibitions happening nowadays and the beginning of 2026, we can see very important topics of the future seasons. Like, for example, the Munch, the exhibition reflecting the dialogue between Edvard Munch, it's a very important European artist, and the artist who continue his legacy. And this exhibition is in Venice till the 1st of March. And it represents the trend of spring-summer 2027 season, which is expressionism, because the summer 2027 will be very artistic, will be very colorful. So it's very important to analyze these topics that are in tunes today from this exhibition is loneliness, personality crisis, fear of time, and the catharsis of belief, actually. The next one, Memories of the Invisible. I like this metaphor. The title, Memories of the Invisible, is very interesting because it's about this. It's about the practitioners of esoteric movements, and the macro trend is neo-shamanism. Shaman is the witch, the person who works with energies, maybe with the spiritual world, etc. So, and this exhibition also covered this topic of spirituality, of subconsciousness. The next one is reconstructing value. The installation for this exhibition is made of British money, banknotes worth 2.5 million pounds. But these crushed banknotes are no longer in circulation. But this is a very important kind of metaphor of the material value, of the critique of material value and the value of money in our world. So the macro trend here is inequality, is stigmatization of material wealth, and geopolitical shifts, of course, like the currencies of the past, they're losing its value in the modern world. So all these installations are made of crushed money, as you can understand. Next one is Kandinsky. He is a very important artist of previous century, and he has synesthetic works which combine sounds and colors. And this exhibition in Paris also covers the trend of optimism for spring-summer 2027. Next one is in London, Radical Harmony. And it's also about neo-impressionism, the richness of color, of shapes, of form. And we can see that the trend of optimism as well for 2027 season, summer season, and also the trend cabaret. Next macro trend, inter-centuries. It's about anniversary of Art Deco style, and the exhibition was held in Paris in 1925, and now it's a century ago. And this style is very important for nowadays as well, because this is a style we're taking such an inspiration from, and it's 100 years ago. So this exhibition also between two wars, and now we're living in the world of transformation like it was 100 years ago. So this style was marked by a thirst for novelty, the speed, the freedom, the rapidness of the world, the creativity, the industrial innovations, but nowadays it's artificial intelligence, the interest in exotic countries for European world like Africa, like India, like Egypt, for example. Next one is character from Cervantes' novel, and it's a man returning to his childhood. So again, this macro trend of infantilism and also of loneliness. The trend is called singleism because more people are living their life alone without a partner. It's a huge problem and a trend of nowadays. And illusions, because this romantic character with unattainable ideal in his mind, with metaphysical loneliness. He is living in the world of illusions and disappointment and failure. From macro trends, we're going to seasonal trends. Romanticism, we can see it on the runway shows like Turkish designer Erdem Moralioglu. It's very important brand nowadays to analyze, and we see a lot of details, frills, floral patterns. Simone Rocha, of course, this Irish brand and this style of romanticism and the appearance of guys, which is important nowadays because it's different from the years before. This is a Turkish guy in the middle. I forgot his name, but he is very popular nowadays among designers, European and Western designers. So we can see the same in Jonathan Anderson Dior debut show, this romanticized man like from 18th, 17th century. Gothic style is also important. It's like a kind of resilience, counterbalance in a social authoritarianism. This movement of protest as well, Gothic style as a metaphor of protest. And we can see it in a lot of fashion shows, especially very important designer to analyze is a British Turkish designer Dilara Findikoglu. And I think this dress in the middle is a very good representation of the spring-summer 2026 season. This dress with a rotten cherry. I think it's amazing, amazing representation, an amazing dress, amazing idea. And other brands covering this topic. Neo-ethnicity is a style which combines ethnic elements from Asia, East Africa. The very important detail of this style is that you intertwine them, you mix them. You are not going straight forward with a regional direction. You intertwine, you mix them. The best representation is a draw. We can see the inspiration of different regions, different countries, and of course a lot of laces. We can see this season traditional elements. Autumn winter 26-27, we have punk style getting back. It was originated in 1970s like a protest. Again, this word protest against social norms, this punk style. And now we are having the renaissance of this rebellious spirit because we have a lot of protest movement around the world, like the same riots in United States as well. Why we have this style back? Because it's a reaction to instability, like punk style as a form of protest, because of the cycles, because these elements of punk regularly return to trends like ripped jeans, leather jackets, plaid shirts, and also subcultural influence. So we can see the elements of this style on the fashion shows as well. You can see, especially the last H&M fashion show. You can have a look. Playful checks also are back. So in terms of the checks in autumn winter 26-27, it's important to make this pattern more playful, more playful. Like the checks is not stable. It's like moving, it's changing its position. Next one is dark fantasies. It's a continuation of Gothic style. So, and here we can see again the pattern is like these flowers which are put in the black substance. This is very important pattern for this season. It's like they are drowned in a black substance, like this in Dries Van Noten. And again, you see this guy, this model, which is hugely popular and famous nowadays, this guy from Turkey. It's very important to understand because if you want to create campaign for the international audience, it's very important to use the models which correspond to the modern days in terms of girls and guys as well. So we can see this atmosphere of dark fantasies on a fashion show as well. The patterns, the prints, which have this atmosphere of dark fantasies, like this prints on the t-shirt with horses, with wolves. Isha, how much time do I have?
I think Sivan, we have 5 more minutes, but some students have some questions that they want to ask you. So, do you think we can take questions?
Okay, so I can stop here.